Hello and welcome to Book of the Mouse Club, episode 47, Saturday, October 10th, 2020.
Morning, monsieur.
Where are you off to?
The bookshop. I just finished the most wonderful story about a beanstalk and an ogre and
That's nice. Marie! The baguettes! Hurry up!
I'm sorry, but how can one possibly pay attention to a book with no pictures in it?
My dear child, there are a great many good books in this world without pictures.
I almost bounced clear out of the book. Some bouncing, huh?
Come home or make myself known.
J. Thaddeus Turtle, Esquire. Have you never met him? You will find his story in this delightful little book, The Wind and the Willows.
I've come to return the book I borrowed.
Finished already?
Oh, I couldn't put it down. Have you got anything new?
Welcome back. I'm your host, Courtney, and I am joined, as always, by the flotsam to my jetsam, Emily.
And Courtney, you are the flounder to my Sebastian, but today we are joined by a special guest who will be our featured mermaid.
Yes, today we're excited to welcome a fellow Disney fan and podcaster from Maryland, my hometown and Emily's current residence. Joining us is Vitoria Wade, the epitome of a content creator in the Disney community. You may know her from Twitter or Instagram, as he calls me Pineapple Princess, where she posts a daily dose of Disney and proudly supports several small shops as a brand representative. You can also find her as the host of Disney Tea with V podcast, which is the cross-section of Disney and social justice, along with her blog of the same name. Welcome, Victoria.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited.
We are too.
Thank you so much for having me.
And Victoria, Courtney and I are fans of your online content. We're super excited to have another Marylander on the show. But for listeners of ours who may be new to you, can you share with us a little bit about your love of Disney and what prompted you to start your online platform and your podcast?
Okay, so I'm going to show my age a little bit. So it goes back to the year of our Lord and Savior, 2012. So that's when I did my first Disney college program. And once it was finished, I was just like, well, I still kind of want that Disney magic to continue on in my everyday life. So I started my Instagram, which is also the same year Instagram came out. So I would just post like little Disney inspirations there. And my Instagram evolved from there as far as like Disney photography and into what it is now, which is Disney style and traveling in the Disney parks. But because of COVID, obviously I can't do that. So I mainly just focus on like going to local spots like Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. I'll be going to Oregon soon. As far as my podcast, it was just something that was suggested to me when I was a guest on a different podcast, was a network. And they were like, well, why don't you just spill the tea since you do it on Twitter all the time? I'm like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. So we started off just spilling, this Twitter tea or whatever, just being funny, whatever. And then it more so got into social justice and being able to better help out the Twitter community as far as LGBTQ issues, helping out cast members, the Black Lives Matter movement that recently happened and how it still affects Disney fans, even though we are mainly Disney focused. And then my love of small shops just came from me just being able to appreciate the creativity and talent of other small shops and just wanted to share that with people and convince them, this is such a great brand. This is a great shop. It's unique. It's handmade. It's created. You can appreciate it. And I highlight that on my blog and all my other social media as well. So, yeah. And I have a dog and 2 cats.
This is so exciting. So 3 Marylanders. We've all done the Disney college program, and we all love Disney. This is great. I didn't know you also did the college program. What was your role?
Mine was quick service food and beverage. I pretty much roamed all of Hollywood studios. So to put this in perspective, this is when the hat was still there. So the first half of my program was me working all over. So before there was Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge, there was the back lot. So that was where the back lot tool. I know.
The Coke stand.
Yeah, Streets of America. There was still Osborne Spectacle of Lights. Like it was a magical time. But I would work that in the second half. I mainly did Phantasmic. So thankfully I had a set schedule. And I would be able to watch Phantasmic every night. So it's just like, what a great year that was.
That is so cool. And I don't think quick service food and beverage gets the credit they deserve in the park.
They do not at
I had
all.
a few friends that did that, and you all worked so incredibly hard. And I don't think people realize that, getting your water, getting those snacks, that really adds to the experience and keeps you happy.
Oh, yes. Like, granted, now I've done some magical moments, but I just want y'all to understand cleaning an ice cream machine at the end of the day sucks. So I want you to remember that when you're getting your funnel cakes with ice cream on top.
My college program roommate was also outdoor foods and beverage at Hollywood Studios, and the Phantasmic shifts were definitely among her favorites. Like, you worked hard leading up to the show with everybody trying to get their snacks, but she's like, but we also got paid to watch Phantasmic, so it balanced out.
Really yes, it was such a good time.
Well, we are really excited to talk about Twisted Tales. This was such a great pick. Thank you for recommending this. This is Courtney and I's first Twisted Tales we've ever read. So thank you for introducing this series to us. And we're going to talk about the author and a little bit about the series. Courtney will give us a plot overview, and we're going to jump in.
All right.
So a little background about Twisted Tales and our author, Liz Braswell. So the series is a collection of alternative what-if scenarios to Disney's fairy tales. The first book, A Whole New World by Liz Braswell, was published in September of 2015. There are currently 10 books in the series, with a new installment, Go the Distance, set to be released in April of 2021. And a little bit about the author of the book that we read. We read Part of Your World by Liz Braswell, and Liz Braswell is author of 6 other Twisted Tale books. From her website, I get the impression of her fun and imagination are not just part of her books, it's completely part of her personality. She was born in England, but grew up in Connecticut and now lives in Brooklyn. Liz has an exciting journey to becoming an author. She has a degree in Egyptology from Brown University, then spent 10 years producing video games. She then started writing under the pen name Tracy Lynn for her first books, Snow and RX, before using her real name to publish the Twisted Tale series and other young adult titles, including the 9 Lives of Chloe King series, Once Again, and short stories in Geektastic.
So jumping into Victoria's selection here today, the question posed for Part of Your World is, what if Ariel had never defeated Ursula? It's been 5 years since the infamous Sea Witch defeated the Little Mermaid and took King Triton's life in the process. Ariel is now the voiceless queen of Atlantica, while Ursula runs Prince Eric's kingdom on land. But when Ariel discovers that her father might still be alive, she finds herself returning to a world and a prince she never imagined she would see again. So that was our description from the back of the book. I'm going to throw it out here. This is your official spoiler warning as we dive in to discuss it. I'd love to just open it up and ask what general likes and dislikes about the format, the style, not before we get too much into the plot, but what would you like or dislike? Victoria, why don't you go first?
There wasn't really too many dislikes. The only dislike I would say is like how the format kind of jumped back and forth. Like I do appreciate how they gave the perspectives of each character, which was refreshing. I'm not sure if she does that with her other books because this was the second one, but the other one was hers and it was like that. But it was just, it kind of jumped around sometimes a little bit too much, and then I would have to go back because I'm like, oh wait, did I miss something? Because like something isn't clicking here and here. Like it would take me a little bit to figure out and connect the dots. But other than that, I have no issues.
Victoria, I have to agree. I liked the character switching. It was nice to get more of Eric because from the film, everything is Ariel's perspective. So getting to know Eric more as a character was cool. Mm-hmm. But then there were some of those random in between chapters. Like there was one that was like a page and a half that was the townspeople.
Yes.
Like, okay, we're getting some like gossip, kind of seeing where like the kingdom's at. But then like the Flotsam and Jetsam random 2-pager, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was
It
like, no
really
one
didn't
asked
do
for
much.
this.
Like the gossip, I was like, okay, maybe it's good to know like where the townspeople fall because we need to figure out like whose side are they going to be on when this all goes down. But Flotsam and Jetsam, there were like a couple of those like small interjections that I agree didn't quite make sense.
Did you all read Gossip Girl when you were younger?
Yes.
And that would switch perspectives, but I feel like it was always like maybe the 4 or 5 core characters. So it did feel a little weird, as you were both saying, like when we got like maybe one chapter from Carlotta or Grimsby's view, like it disrupted it a little bit. I appreciated having it, but I feel like it did throw off some of the rhythm.
No, I agree. Like getting the side characters' perspectives too is great because it's like, oh, cool. Now we can see it from like a different viewpoint. But like, do I honestly care about the great great grandchild of Scuttle's perspective on the situation? Not really. Or Flotsam and Jetsam, like you said earlier. Do not really care about you because you're not really contributing much to the story as it is. But yeah.
Yeah, I did find it nice that the chapters were pretty short between those views since it changed so rapidly. But I will say from the beginning, it did just take me a moment to adjust. I think maybe because this was my first one jumping in to the what if, and it kind of opens with this prequel on land with like people you've never heard of. Like basically Eric's kingdom is invading another kingdom, and I feel like it took me a few chapters, I don't know, I don't want to make a mermaid pun, but like find my feet on land or so to get used to it. And I was like, okay, all right, it's been 5 years. Like it took a little to get into, I guess, that exposition of like, wait, where are we in the story, and like what was that diverging point? Like how far did they get in what would be the story as we know it of the movie to like what was that splitting off point? Where did it all go wrong?
I think what would have been cool is I love when books give you like a map in the front.
Oh yeah.
So like a way that they could have introduced that exposition without having to like explain it is like it just here's a map of Prince Eric's kingdom, and you could have just had the title. I have no idea how to pronounce Turelia.
I thought it was Tarula.
Well, I like
Tarula.
That
There is a few in there. Tarulia. So like if they just had a map labeled the kingdom of Tarulia, and then we could also see those neighboring kingdoms that they were invading, but also label like where the shipwreck was, where like he met her, like giving us some geography, I think could have helped one tell that exposition like, oh, this is Prince Eric's kingdom, here are the neighbors, but also kind of give you that visual of where everyone's moving. I think that could have been a cool front of the book going into that. Maybe that would have introduced us to that idea of like, by the way, we're naming the kingdom, because you're right, in the film we have no geography of where we are. We have no title for Eric's kingdom. We just go, oh, it's Prince Eric's kingdom. So I liked that we got more of that backstory, that a lot more of it feels more real if it has names and like they talk about the government and the things they're doing. But I think even just adding a simple map could have, I think, Courtney, like you said, kind of bring us into that speed a lot faster.
Yeah, that would have been extremely helpful. I didn't even think about that, to be honest.
I'm a fan of maps. I like maps.
I love maps. I have a whole Disney parks. Do you have that book where it's like all the Disney parks maps?
I do. Emily, do you?
I do not. I kick myself because at one point it was in the Barnes & Noble like bargain book section and I didn't buy it at that moment.
Bargain books?
They sometimes put the big like coffee table books, like the Disney poster art coffee table book. They had that in like, they don't call it bargain books anymore. They call it like the book depository or something. It's those books that like maybe they're not flying off the shelves, so they discount them. They had them there at one point, and I was like, okay, maybe my next visit, I'll wait for my next paycheck. And then, of course, they weren't there the next time.
Oh no.
Hashtag. But yeah, the maps are cool. I like maps, particularly in books. Not maybe so much as this, but I think they've talked about quite a few locations where, you know, Eric was meeting Ariel at like that side beach walkway. So just having a little bit of that visual of being like, okay, they're over here and now she's over here, I think could have helped visualize.
Right, right. No, I completely agree. I didn't even think about that. That would have been extremely helpful because it's just like she's describing like taking over all these kingdoms, but you're like, well, what is the scale and the depth of like how serious the situation is? Like, is it a small kingdom? Is it Genovia? Like, what is it?
Are we between France and Spain?
Right, like where are we? We just know we're near the sea. That's all we know.
But overall, I liked the book, and for the age group it's aiming for, I will say to readers, the language and the style of writing, I think, is definitely towards like a 13 to 15 audience.
I would agree.
I think is the target group. So that didn't bother me if you know that's the target group. The way like Ariel talks, she talks about being an adult, whereas like real adults reading this are like, that's not maybe quite as adult sounding. It's still, it's more mature than she was in the movie. But a upper 20s readers like ourselves reading these were like, still kind of naive in some ways, but to a 15-year-old, and as a high school teacher that teaches 15-year-olds, that is definitely the maturity level that they recognize in adults in their kind of thinking. So I think that matches that age group really well, and she wrote this well to that target group.
Oh yeah, she did a fabulous job. I would have to agree. I mean, when you think about it, yeah, because she was 16, so she's 21. So yeah, that is a very accurate visual of what a 13 to 15-year-old child would think being 21 is.
All of her responsibilities.
All the responsibilities. No bills, but responsibilities.
She's ruling a kingdom. It's fine.
It's fine.
I mean, if Queen Elizabeth can be queen at 25 years old, Ariel can be queen of Atlantica at 21.
Exactly. I think like in European royalty, once you hit 18, then you can rule on your own. But otherwise, you have to have a what is it called?
Regent.
Regent. Thank you. A regent to rule until you're of age.
That's Sebastian. Sebastian's our regent, are wanting to be regent.
I don't know. The way he was acting in this book, he acted like he didn't want it.
He's a little crabby.
Womp. Bump. Sure. So, thoughts on Ariel's sisters about making her queen? I thought it was a fitting punishment, but I also felt it was a cop-out. I'm not going to lie. Because it's like, yes, she was the reason all of this happened. She was the reason at that point in time until we get to that point in the story where, all of them have lost a father figure. Her whole kingdom has lost a leader. The seas are just without a leader in general. And she was the cause of that. So it is essentially taking responsibility for your actions, which as an adult, you should do. You should take responsibility for your actions. But at the same time, she is also the youngest of the sisters. And I think they even said it in the book that that's not how they go about picking the next ruler, especially since they have a long lifespan as a mer. So in reality, it should have been Atina who took over the throne, but they just said, hey, you're the reason we're in this mess, so therefore you should rule, which didn't make any sense because she didn't have a voice. So how is she going to rule over a kingdom with no voice? Now, granted, I appreciate that they put in, that's going into the next question, but
no problem.
I do appreciate that they incorporated sign language in the book because that's so important for inclusion. And I really appreciated that they made a Disney princess able to sign. Like that was amazing. And I love that they did that. But I'm just like, realistically, it didn't really make sense for her to be queen when she can't use her voice and her power to speak to her people. So it was a cop-out in conclusion.
I agree with you on the cop-out with the sisters because I would think, like you said, in traditional royalty, that even if the mer have long lifespans, like Atina would probably have been next to Triton a lot, learning what to do because she would be next. Even if it's 50 years from now, she's the apprentice. She's next in line to the throne. So I did think it was interesting that, she comes around at the end where she kind of helps Triton when he, spoiler alert, magically returns. So she comes around back to that at the end. But I agree. I was kind of thought that was weird. I'm like, who doesn't want to rule? Because I feel like all of the other stories we see, except maybe Prince Harry, he doesn't want to rule. But a lot of other royalty and like things you hear from history is like, everyone wants the power. So how conniving or like pushing are you to be to do that? So I did think it was interesting that you're right. Her sisters are all just like, well, we don't really want to rule, so you do it. And for being very broken up about losing their father, they didn't do much to like try to either rectify the situation. When she says, I think I found him, none of them are like, let me help you. I want my father back. They're like, you do it. Like, okay, I thought you loved your dad. I don't know.
Exactly. And that's what killed me. I was just like, no one seems broken up about this. Matter of fact, a lot of you guys, all the sisters minus like Atina, are more focused on like the narcissistic aspects of what we know of mermaids, which are just looking in a mirror, being pretty, going to these parties. And you're like, you don't seem very broken up about, your sister not having a voice and your dad is just quote unquote dead. Like, but go to your party, I guess, if that makes you feel feelings.
Yeah, when I think we get to Ariel's chapter, and that's kind of when they introduce the concept of her as queen. Immediately my mind was like, she has 6 other sisters. How did this happen? So I was glad they at least gave a reason that like, oh, she was being punished because they're like, it's your fault we're in this mess. Now you're going to be the queen. But yeah, that seemed a little weird to me. But I like where it took us in the story and the challenges that she had to face because of that.
I think it was important for her character development because what we know from her from the movie is she is very impulsive, and she needed to learn some temperance of it's good to be impulsive at times, but then also the carrying of responsibilities and thinking of others and the bigger picture, etc. And we see her grapple with that throughout the book at different instances, where she's like, wow, I was 16 and made some poor choices. Like when she finally recognizes, she's like, I don't know why I didn't see the red flag of see which wants to magically help me but asks for my voice. Like I loved when she finally grappled with that. I was like, yes, thank you. But so I think she needed to be queen to learn some of those lessons. So it, like you said, Courtney, it helped with the plot. It helped with her character development.
Oh, absolutely. Just seeing her growth from the movie versus the book, it's a extra mental amount of growth, and I really appreciate it. It's just like she is doing what she needs to do. She's taking responsibility for her actions at a very young age too. So it's just like, okay, you're just jumping onto the plate real quick. You went from like a mermaid who just looks pretty, has a beautiful voice, X, Y, and Z, until no voice, ruling a kingdom, essentially becoming your father and understanding your father's viewpoint on why he was so grumpy, why he was so serious all the time. And that's because as a ruler, you have to be serious. You can't show any weakness. Otherwise, you lose the faith of your kingdom and you lose the faith of your people. So I get that. And that was amazing. Again, I also love how they incorporated the sign language. I'm sure that's going to be amazing to someone who's reading that and understands that's not a hindrance. It shouldn't have to hold you back. You can be whatever you want to be, including a whole queen of the entire sea. So that was awesome too. And I also appreciated Eric's viewpoints as well. It seems like you get more depth from his character, I guess I want to say. Like you see more of his musician side, and I really appreciate the emotional depth they gave him.
Yeah, I think we use the term because we're always like a little careful on the language here with the Disney type, but we called him...
Oh, sorry.
No, you didn't say anything. I was just prefacing my term for Eric. When we did our Little Mermaid, we did like the history of the fairy tale. We call him a fluff and stuff boy, if you get the direction that I'm going. Yes. He is a fluff and stuff boy, and he absolutely is in the movie, in the original fairy tale. And I kind of liked that they acknowledged other characters' perception of him. Like, people didn't really seem to respect him as a prince, certainly not under Vanessa's rule, but to then see him acknowledge his faults, he's like, oh, I haven't really been paying attention to these things. Maybe my head was in the wrong place, but he definitely develops a lot as well, setting himself up to be this future ruler.
Right.
I really liked when Eric put Vanessa / Ursula in her place. Because once he comes out of that spell, so in the plot, Ariel is on land. She's searching the castle because she hears her father, as a polyp, is still alive somewhere. And while Vanessa is in the bath, or she's like changing, she took off the necklace that has Ariel's voice. So Ariel takes the necklace back, gets her voice back, and that breaks all other enchantments. And so Eric's head clears, and I really liked when he finally confronts Vanessa / Ursula about like knowing things, but as a government teacher, when he gave her the rundown of how a monarchy works, particularly a constitutional monarchy, I was like living my best life.
I was like, tea, sis.
It's tricky how it works in the sea. But this is how we make laws, and this is how we go to war, and what alliances are, and what contracts mean. And I'm like, yes. So I kind of like that. Yes, what was clouding his judgment was her spells. And maybe he's kind of like, this is where Ariel and Eric are parallel, I think, in lots of ways, where they both just want to be adventurous and do things, and they kind of forget their place in the bigger picture of, yes, you're in royalty, so you have some other responsibilities that you have to juggle. So I think he had that headspace like Ariel, but he also had the spell. So I really like seeing him come out of that. And it's like, yes, okay. Both Ariel and Eric now kind of fit together because not only do they have the same adventurous spirit, but they understand their role in the bigger picture of ruling and governing, taking care of people.
I completely agree. And it also shows their love for their people at the end of the day, because Ariel and Eric both in the film at the same time are grappling with what decisions they have to make, because at the end of the day, these decisions they make together and separately affect their kingdom. So it really showed growth there as well, and how they're taking on more responsibility. And I liked that. I really appreciated that they did that. Well, that Liz wrote that.
In our way, our central character here in the terms of the what if is Ursula, but I like that we see more of Ursula inhabiting Vanessa. Like, this is a different aspect of her personality. She's not like fully embodied Ursula until she kind of gets unleashed. So we see how she kind of has to tread carefully as this ruler. She's still a little ruthless and conniving, but she's uncomfortable on land, and you get a glimpse into that piece as well.
Oh yes. I mean, where do I start? Because I had a lot to say, but now I'm just like, you know what? I really appreciated the character development for Ursula Vanessa too, because then you see how she struggles with being on land, but you still see her as the core god, or I guess goddess of this of the sea. So she's sitting there like, okay, I'm understanding power now. I love how they do this on land. I dig this. I want more of it. But then you see the consequences of her actions too. It's like, okay, she really doesn't know what she's doing. She's just like burning things,
yes,
destroying cities, and have no like concept of actually how to make alliances. As Eric put it in her place in the story, as you mentioned before, I especially appreciated how now. See, I'm kind of treading water here, but like essentially with the way it is in their kingdom, yes, women have a very minuscule role and they have to play that role. So as he stated, she doesn't get anything. She gets nothing. She loses. Good day, sir. So she's really like just like treading on water. Like she thought she had power, but in reality, she does not. And now that he's not under her spell anymore, it's like kind of weird. Also, I liked her character. I liked her character development as well, especially the part where we find out that her Vanessa body was part of a deal. Like, I don't know, from the movie, I always thought it was just something she conjured up. It wasn't like part of another deal that she made with someone who wanted to be a mermaid.
Yeah, I feel
Which
like
was interesting.
There were different elements in the book that cleared up some of the plot holes of like the mer culture, or just things that people criticize from the movie. Did you pick up on anything, Emily?
So there were a number of things. So going along with the sign language, I did like when they talked about the sign language, the writing, that the mer sign language and mer writing is different than human. Mm-hmm. And that kind of clears up, because in the film, we see her sign her name to a contract. And all this time, Eric's trying to guess her name or what her motivations are. I'm like, girl, grab a piece of paper and write it down.
Right.
But now in the book, understanding that they write in a different style, that she sends a message to Eric at some point, and she uses the trident's magic to like kind of animate a message to him, because they don't read and write in the same language. So I appreciated that they brought that back together. And that kind of also wrapped up that while she can sign, you know, it's kind of like how sign language, ASL and UK sign language is different. Just because you can sign doesn't mean you're going to understand it. So why she's not signing on land either is they're probably not going to understand mermaid version of sign language. They'll understand their version of sign language. So like you said, I appreciate that element of deaf culture in there, that sign language is just as much of an intricate language as any other spoken language, with its own dialects and structure and format. But so like those things, and I liked, I'd love to get your perspectives on this. I liked how much Greek mythology was brought in.
Yes.
Talking about the old gods and why, you know, Triton has, like, they acknowledge Triton is a descendant of Neptune. So like bringing those elements in, I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, I thought they were very clever. So backstory for me, I'm into traditional witchcraft. So when I saw like little bits and pieces of what I know from what I've learned over the past year or so, I was like, oh my gosh, they're incorporating all of this, like Greek mythology, and runes is actually a ancient language that was used, which was what they used in the Mer language, and you could actually learn it. Like, I haven't learned it because I just don't have the time. It's a lot, but yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I see runes, got it. And with her, and now I know this is a Tumblr thing, but I got like the vibes of like how Hercules and Ariel are related, because they're both like,
I remember those Tumblr days.
Yeah. How they're like related and whatnot. So I'm like,
hey,
okay,
go the distance.
That could be a
the
cool
distance
tie-in.
Is coming out.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. It could be a nice little tie-in.
Or go the distance, April 2021.
April 2021. I will probably get that, but yes, I love that they filled in that plot hole. The plot holes about the contract, all that stuff. I also like, how they filled in Ursula's goals per se, like how she didn't really have one goal. She had like an overlying goal of just control and revenge. And you kind of get a little bit of that backstory about what Atlantica did to her to make her, like, motivate her to do all these things to get where she is today. Now, I think they also do that in the sequel movies too, but I've only seen Little Mermaid 2. But yeah, that was cool to see her motivations, see how Eric really looks to his kingdom, because in the movie it seems like he's very beloved. You get a sense of his family. You find out that he has a sister. Like, what?
Yeah, where's she?
Right, where is she at in all this? Like, she just casually mentioned, but I guess because she's a female, you know, whatever. But
she was casually mentioned to remind Vanessa, you're not next in line to the throne. My sister would be. So back off, sweetie.
Right, like
my sister taking over.
In terms of other plot holes, I kind of liked that there was a little bit of shade to Ariel falling in love with Eric within 3 days. So just to explain for anyone who hasn't read the book. You can't marry a
man you just met.
Yes. So Ariel does get her voice back about like a third of the way through the book. She takes the shell necklace and destroys it. So now Vanessa / Ursula has Ursula's voice, and so she's like faking that she has a cold, but she's like, I need another young naive woman to give me her voice. She learns of somebody in the village who's kind of looking to get above her station, meet a man, and so she invites her to like come out to this boggy area at night because she can only do her magic in water. That's important to meet her. And so she's like kind of going through the deal like she did with Ariel in the film, but good for this girl because she's like kind of hesitant. She's like, how am I supposed to make someone fall in love and marry me within 3 days? And I was like, yes, thank you for recognizing that as a point of contention.
All the shade, and I was here for it. Like, girl was using her common sense, but I guess I can't even say common sense because not all sense is common. But girl was on it. She followed her gut, and it saved her in the end.
Yes, I liked that it was a little aside, but they worked it in there.
I think it was also an interesting juxtaposition maybe between the merfolk and humans, because like you said, with the mer, it's kind of that stereotypical fantasy narcissistic. So Ariel gives in so quickly because she wants these things, but maybe the humans have a little bit more like, wait a minute. And that kind of shows some of Vanessa's faults, is that she doesn't know how to, she can manipulate humans very well, but maybe not as well as Mer because she doesn't understand the human race as much as she understands the Mer.
Right.
People. So I thought that was an interesting too, because now we have the reference of when Ariel went through this deal, and now that young noble. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I was proud of her. And again, that shade, can't marry a man you just met. 3 days is not gonna work. I just love at any point when something Disney acknowledges some of those fairy tale issues and go totally Frozen on themselves. All about it.
It's just growth in the Disney culture overall.
Yes, we have to stand. But I did kind of have a question. It's about Scuttle's great granddaughter or granddaughter? First off, who procreated with Scuttle? I have questions. Like, where was the attraction? I have several questions about that, but that's for another time. I really felt like the character was unnecessary, and I feel bad saying that, but I get her place in the plot. I just kind of felt like the story would have been fine without what was it, Jonah.
Yes, Scuttle calls her Jonathan because
yes. Yes, I was like, look.
I'm kind of with you on that. Like, she was cute. I could see her being like, God, I'm not trying to make puns, but like pigeonholed into a like a sequel or something. I'm like, oh, this would be the marketable plush little cute character. But in terms of the book, I was like, why can't Scuttle just talk to his friend? Like, I didn't understand that either. What about you, Emily?
I agree. And I guess maybe her place, Jonah's place, was to like show like the passage of time, and she's kind of like the new versus the old generation a little bit. She kind of reflects, she's a little more outgoing, she has some more common sense, she's a little more off the cuff than Scuttle, but I think if also you're picking up these books, it's because you love the original Disney fairy tale and you want to see those characters. And while Scuttle's in it, I think there were some lost opportunities where Scuttle really could have caused some mayhem and like funny moments, because if he's messaging back and forth, there could have been more miscommunication. We could have seen some more, kiss the girl cacophony of randomness. And I think he could have had a more interesting role. So I kind of get what Jonah was doing, but I agree. I don't think she was a bad character. She didn't detract from the book in any way. She did move the plot along in her small roles that she played, but that role that she played could have been played by Scuttle. It could have been played by anyone. It wasn't integral that she particularly did that role.
Right. Like, I get it. He's elderly. I understand. He might not be up for the adventure. I'm just
It's only been 5 years, though. I'm like, do birds just age really rapidly?
That's why I was so confused.
I mean, we don't know how old he is in the film, but I'm like, 5 years? I don't know. Is that a long time in bird years?
I'm gonna Google this because now I want to know.
Bird years. What is the
I mean,
lifespan?
if these are the seagulls at Ocean City, Maryland, maybe.
Perhaps.
Been eating lots of fries, chilling on the boardwalk. Scuttle's been living the life of eating the human food.
Okay, seagulls have a lifespan of 49 years. So, like, I don't think
really?
According to Google, the first
Yeah,
result.
According to Google, that's what I get too.
I went right there with you. I'm like, okay, is he like that destitute?
Maybe again the motivation was just to be like, we have a new young cast of characters in some way, but she's the only one. We do also get, though, what was Vanessa's little girl maid?
Verit.
I wanted more from her. Like, I was waiting for there to be a twist. Like, she was from the sea and like Vanessa just like created a human for, I don't know. I was waiting for more from her.
Right, and she was just there. Like, I honestly thought when they mentioned that Vanessa had stolen, like, well, not stolen, but like she got her body from a deal, I thought this was like going to be like
relevant
relevant to like maybe this was a mother and this is the daughter or something along those lines, like something that was going to be like, oh snap, plot twist. But she was just there and she was just rewarded for like just helping, just being a body. I'm like, okay. I mean, that's
she was
cool, I guess.
Cool character that, again, I think like we all agree there's some missed opportunities because she's like the double agent on the inside.
Right.
Vanessa trusts her because she puts herself into her Ursula form in front of her all the time. And obviously this girl's been harassed and abused by Ursula, but she's also helping Ariel and Eric. And we get some from her at the end in the final chapter is her point of view. And I was like, why are we just getting this now? I would have loved to have more. So I'm glad to see that she gets taken care of, but she would have been a character that instead of giving us that flotsam and jetsam interjection, give us her, like her inside, her internal dilemma. Even if we only saw her twice, I think would have been really interesting.
Yeah, I think they mainly just used her for like the, like happily ever after ending, which I get, but again, like you said, she was way more interesting than like whatever Flotsam and Jetsam had going on in their little duo lives. Like, I don't know. Like, we want more. We want more of Verit. We stand Verit.
So talking about the ending, what did you guys think of the end? The new plot that brings Ursula down using Eric's opera to expose her to the kingdom.
I thought there was some good climax there. Going to the very end, I did like that it was a bit ambiguous. Like, I don't know, just having read or experienced or watched so many Disney things, I'm like, oh, is this going to end with Ariel and Eric getting married just like the film does? But I like that it was like, hey, like, we have feelings for each other, but like, we're going to need to kind of figure this out. And it just left it at that point. And I felt like that was a great message for young readers. Like, don't rush into this. Like, we're going to have to take our time. So I appreciated the open-endedness of the ending.
Yeah, I enjoyed that as well. Because in reality, it kind of left me open. I really didn't know how it was going to end. I honestly was just like, all right, they're just going to get together and it's going to be like some La La Land BS. But I was like, okay, it's realistic. Realistic relationship expectations. We stand it. We're going to compromise. We're going to be like a couple that compromises and communicates. I appreciated that.
Figure out long distance.
Figure out long distance. It's doable. I've done it. It's doable. I appreciated that a lot, especially now that Ariel has. Oh yeah, is she? If I recall correctly, an ambassador for her kingdom now. Like,
yeah,
okay.
So she learns. Yeah, she learns from Eric and like being back on land that there are neighboring kingdoms. Even if you're the kingdom, you have other parts of the ocean is huge, and she's recognizing we aren't as well connected like the human world is, where they all travel and speak to each other. She's like, maybe Mer need to,
Unite,
stop being.
yeah.
This is not an age of isolation. We are an age of globalization. So I liked that. I did like that she becomes an ambassador. She doesn't leave her. She just doesn't go, I'm done ruling. Bye. And leaves her two sisters and to her father.
It gave me what is her Shirley Temple Black vibes. That's what it gave me, because Shirley Temple goes from a child star to the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador for Ghana, I believe. So that's the vibe that gave me, and I really liked that. I also liked how Atina, this is like, okay, I guess I'll take more responsibility, as you should,
Step
because
up.
you're going to be next in line. Step up. Thank you. I also like that Eric's taking more responsibility and becoming a prince in name and as in like duty. I appreciate that as well. I also want Grisby to retire because he deserves it. He put up with way too much.
I'd love to know, just in reflecting on the book overall, did you have any specific favorite parts or scenes?
Honestly, I liked the opera. Like, I didn't think I was going to like the opera, but I like how it set up everything on land, essentially, and like how it opened up for how everything is going on land at that point in time. Like, what's Eric's role? What's Vanessa doing? Ursula doing? And then it takes you down to Ariel and how she's doing. It was an excellent setup for how he's still in the spell. Like, he's still in the spell. Some of the people are still in the spell, but it's not as strong because Ursula is weakening. Like, I really loved that. And I honestly didn't think I was going to like it that much.
My favorite part was the middle where Ariel and Eric finally talk for the first time.
Yeah.
Because it all just comes out. Everything it's so true. I think I mentioned this meme when Courtney and I did our fairy tale favorites. That whole, when you start agreeing with King Triton over
You've
Ariel,
reached a certain age.
You're an adult. I'm 16 years old. I'm not a child, but Daddy, I love him.
You're like, no, you're a child.
I loved that chapter where they both recognize, like, wow, we did some silly things, but they finally like say everything that us as adults are like yelling at the screen, like, just say this, just do this, everything would have been fine. So Eric comes to the realization, like, oh, so it really was you this whole time. I shouldn't have fallen in love with the voice. I should have fallen in love with the person who I actually spent time with. Like, all of that finally unraveling and them having that conversation, I think is also like a really big turning point of recognizing the growth of these characters. But I really love that because I finally felt like, yes, they get it. And so that made me really happy.
I actually liked a smaller scene. Ariel's on land. Apparently mermaids love apples. And she goes to purchase some, super random fact, she purchases some from an older woman, and it seems like this older woman has dealt with, I guess, merfolk on land before, and she kind of like gives a wink to Ariel to be like, I know your secret, I know that you're from the sea. And I just thought it was a really sweet scene, and kind of the takeaway, Ariel's like, believe in magic, believe in that power. And the old woman's like, oh, I'd love to see a mermaid enter the sea one day. And then, of course, at the end, she gets to see both Ariel and Triton. But I thought that exchange between them was very, very heartfelt and just a nice, like a calm moment amid all the trouble that's going on in this book and all the combativeness. Like, that was just a nice pause to like reflect on magic.
That was a really sweet scene. I did like that one a lot.
It was so, it really made me go like, oh. Now keep in mind, I was reading this while it was nap time at work for my kids. I was sitting there like, wow, this really got me in my feelings.
Right in the feels.
I also liked how feisty the old woman was at the end. Like, she was all about, she's like, for the mer. She's like, all for it. And she's like, take down Vanessa.
For Narnia, for Aslan.
Yes.
I loved it. Well, Victoria, this was such a great pick. Thank you for introducing us to the Twisted Tales. But we want to ask you, since you are the Twisted Tales veteran, what are some other favorites that you've had?
So this is actually my second one that I've read. I just kind of wanted an excuse to read a new one. But the first one I read was Reflection, which was the Mulan-based one. And it is everything to me. It pretty much tells... like, it's not really a twisted tale per se, because it's not written by Liz. It's written by one of the other authors who helps in the series. It's pretty much Mulan goes into the underworld to get Shang's soul back, and she's gone down with her guardian, who isn't Mushu. It's a lion of some sort. I want to say it's like a lion spirit,
not the Great Stone Dragon.
No, I take that back. The Great Stone Dragon is Shang's guardian, and the guardian is going down with her to help him get Shang's spirit back before he's permanently down there, because they still got to fight. Like, they're still in the midst of the battle, like the whole battle from the movie. Like, he just didn't make it. That's really the twisted tale. Like, okay. He didn't make it. So this is her going. It's like a story within the story, essentially. I know I'm saying like all weird, but but it's so good. It gives a lot more depth to Shang and to Mulan. Introduces new characters that I actually feel were really beneficial to the plot. Like, I could see this being a sequel, and it would do really well.
These would be a cool Disney Plus series, like individual episodes. I could see that working. Well, I have a list of the others for any of our listeners who might be interested, and fortunately the covers pose the question, so I will share them here. We have A Whole New World, which poses the question, what if Aladdin had never found the lamp? Once Upon a Dream, what if Sleeping Beauty never woke up? As Old as Time, what if Belle's mother cursed the beast? We've talked about Part of Your World here. Mirror, Mirror, what if the evil queen poisoned the prince? Conceal, Don't Feel, what if Anna and Elsa never knew each other? Straight On Till Morning, what if Wendy first traveled to Neverland with Captain Hook? And So This Is Love, what if Cinderella never tried on the glass slipper? So I'd love to know, if you could make a twisted tale about a Disney story, which would you choose? And possibly what would be
I'll try. There's so many
for
good
me,
stories. Yeah,
there are. And what I really was excited about seeing Hercules Go the Distance coming is, it sounds like most of these are either the Disney classics or from the Renaissance.
Right.
And they're very popular, so I see why we went there. But I really do like when some of the more underrated Disney films and characters get the recognition. So I was really happy to see like Hercules is coming. So while that's still the 90s, he's not the level of Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, and Lion King. But one I would pick would be the cult favorite of Emperor's New Groove.
That's mine, Emily! Ooh. That was we didn't put these in the doc. And I went there too.
Ooh.
But like, what if he stayed a llama a lot longer, or Yzma, got to rule or something? I don't know what the twist exactly would be. Maybe Courtney, you've thought more about this, but I think if they were able to keep the humor level from the movie into the book, it would be fantastic.
Oh my god, that's so funny, because like you put this question in the doc, but I had the question too, so then I was answering. I was like, I love Yzma, and I think just because this is the only one we've read, so I was thinking very similarly around the same lines. Like, what if they don't defeat Yzma and Yzma rules the kingdom? And I love Yzma, I love Kronk. I feel like you're right. Just the dynamics in that film would lend themselves so well to a continued universe within the book. So literally the question that I wrote down in my phone is, what if Kuzco chose to stay a llama? Great minds think alike. I wouldn't be surprised if we got that, because I feel like I've seen a lot more Emperor's New Groove, like merchandise. It's the 20th anniversary of the film. Yes. That film is starting to get the much deserved recognition.
Have you seen the doll?
Oh,
is it an
Yzma doll?
Yes, they're coming out with an Yzma doll at the end of the month.
A Maleficent one. It's in that same series, right?
Yeah, it's a new villain.
So it's like is this like the designer series that they did for the princesses, but now they're doing it for the villains?
Oh, she looks amazing.
It's a masquerade one, and all of their outfits for every villain, especially Hades. Oh my gosh, they are everything. They look amazing. And I'm
Her
like, I don't care
sculpting,
what bill.
her face
Like, I don't know
and
what bill.
stuff.
Right. It looks
It's really good.
amazing. Like her gown, just I'm just like, I don't care what bill I have to push aside for that month. I'm just gonna get it.
Treat yourself for sure. So Emily and I had
Yes.
the same one. Now I have to I feel like I have to think of a different one. Do you have one, Victoria? No, I'm like
I'm
Googling Disney
literally
movies
flipping
on
through
my phone.
I'm literally flipping through the list of Disney films right now.
I think at some point every Disney animated movie should
You know,
get a take
Lion
on
King
this.
didn't get one yet. Lion
Ooh,
King
okay.
would be interesting with Scar. What if Simba didn't return?
I feel like you could do cool stuff with Princess and the Frog and Dr. Facilier. Like, he's a great character, too. Like, what if he didn't have to go to the... Is it, like, where does he go at the end of the... Like, the Shadow Realm. Like, if he sticks around and has some voodoo magic going on.
See, that's a good one, too. I like that. Or, like, what if Rapunzel didn't leave the tower?
Yeah.
That wasn't my idea, but I just thought about that one.
No,
My
I like
idea
that.
was actually The Nightmare Before Christmas. What if, like, what if Jack just ruined Christmas and didn't actually save the day? Or, like, what if Oogie Boogie actually ended up being the hero and Jack wasn't?
Or what if Jack went to a different holiday, like Valentine's Day or something?
Right.
Yeah, that'd be
Like, I
perfect
just
for
said-
Halloween.
Right, I just had it in mind because I was like, okay, well, what if he didn't go to Halloween Town? What if he went to what's another major one? I don't know. Like you said, Valentine's Day. Like, what would that be? Or what if like Oogie Boogie ends up being the hero for Halloween Town and Jack's like ostracized and just something like that, where like he has to go through another hero's journey, and it seemed like a good way to develop the character more.
Yeah, I really like that a lot. I definitely see myself visiting others in the series. What about you two?
Yeah, I'm really interested in Straight On Till Morning, and I think Conceal Don't Feel. My Disney college program roommate, she reads a lot of these, and she was really excited to hear we were doing this episode, and she started throwing other titles at me, and those were two that she had mentioned.
The Snow White one intrigues me about if the prince had the apple. Like, let's flip. I could see, I don't know where the plot's going to go, but I could see like Snow White stepping up and becoming the hero in that story. So I'd be excited to see if it takes that hypothesis of mine.
For me, it was the Sleeping Beauty one, because I'm like, well, if she doesn't wake up, what would happen? Like, that is like a genuine question I had, not versus like, what if the prince, had the apple? I'm like, well, I guess he would be dead. versus like Sleeping Beauty, I'm like, dang, that's a good question. What if she doesn't wake up?
Well, lots of reading ahead for us, and normally we like to wrap up our discussion with resources related to the book. We've left you a few with those Twisted Tale options, but today we'd like to feature a different kind of resource. Disney recently announced that 28,000 cast members across Disneyland and Walt Disney World will no longer get to make magic in their roles, and this is a truly unfortunate result of COVID-19. As members of the Disney community, all three of us have shared experience as cast members, as former Disney College Program participants ourselves. We'd like to encourage you to give back to those magic makers in need right now. Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida is a private nonprofit organization that collects, stores, and distributes donated food to more than 550 feeding partners in 6 Central Florida counties. To support this charity, you can visit feedhopenow.org.
Also, the Cast Member Pantry is an organization created by cast members for cast members directly as a response to the COVID-19 related impacts on the community. You can support the group financially via Venmo at Cast Member Pantry, or visit Cast Member Pantry on Facebook for access to their Amazon wish list. The group started in Orlando and is now mobilizing to assist in Anaheim as well. And then Victoria, being a representative for so many great small shops in your experience supporting artists, a lot of these small shop owners also are cast members or are big in the Disney community. Do you have any small shops you could recommend that can help expand our community where we can all help each other?
Yes, I actually just had one recently follow me, not even this morning. It's Joyful Peach Co. She's a furloughed cast member, so she hasn't been laid off yet from what she told me, but at this point, the way it's going, it seems inevitable. So that's Joyful Peach Co. On IG. There's also one run by my friend Ray KM on there. She has fabulous resin art, earrings, all that good stuff. Her Etsy store is Groovy by Design.
I just got earrings from her and I love them.
Oh yes, I really wanted her Sailor Moon resin, and her George of the Jungle one, but someone got it before I could. I was just like, okay. But those are two great ones, and I have a thread on my Twitter that's pinned as well, where I'm actively putting more shops and other resources for cast members to help and how other people who aren't can help them as well.
Perfect. We'll include links to those at the bottom of the episode as well. I think having that Twitter thread from you will be really helpful.
Yes, anything to help out. Like it's truly a hard time, so it's now time for us to give back to, those who help make the magic in our lives.
Yeah, and the Disney community is so much larger than just the company. So this is our time to step up and to support each other. There's lots of ways we can keep making magic.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But listeners, moving forward, here is what's coming in Book of the Mouse. So over the next 2 episodes, we will explore both volumes of Mark Davis in his own words by P. Docter and Christopher Merritt. From the product description, this is an award-winning filmmaker Pete Docter and veteran Walt Disney Imagineer Christopher Merritt share a deluxe 2-book slip-cased set celebrating Disney legend Mark Davis. The hefty volume showcase Mark's mostly unseen Disney theme park concept art and offer a unique behind-the-scenes view as told through Mark's own words. So we'll be exploring those, and please join us in November and December for both volumes.
Those were on our Christmas list last year. We both got it for Christmas. We're like, it's almost Christmas this year. gotta put those to use. So looking forward to that. In the meantime, of course, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Book of the Mouse, or email us with comments or ideas to bookofthemouseclub@gmail.com. Please be sure to leave us a review on iTunes so others can find our podcast and read and listen along with us. If you'd like to keep up with me, Courtney, I'm on Instagram at GreatGuthsby and Twitter at Courtney_Guth.
And you can keep up with me, Emily, on Instagram and Twitter at Emily_McD. And Victoria, can you please share how listeners can keep up with you and all of your projects?
Sure. So you can follow me on Twitter. That's where I do all my more ratchet, not really Disney stuff at, but I do still do Disney. He calls me PP. I'm mainly on Instagram and he calls me Pineapple Princess. The blog is teawithv.squarespace.com. And my own podcast, as we mentioned before, is Disney Tea with V.
Well, thank you so much. We'll be sure to include links to those in our show notes as well. We always close each episode with a quote, and as our guest of honor, you get to do so today. So what have you selected for us?
So, I'm a sucker for The Great Gatsby, so it's going to be a Great Gatsby quote.
Yes!
So, it's in my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind ever since. Whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, he told me, just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you had. And I feel like that's an important reminder to people to understand that you need to remember that you don't have as much, people don't have as much as you have, and therefore you need to give back.
I love that. A good reminder for some of the characters in our book, for everyone today, and the opportunity to give back and help cast members. Thank you so much, Victoria.
Oh, no, thank you guys for having me. This was wonderful. I really appreciated it.
Book of the Mouse Club has no affiliation with the Walt Disney Company. The views and opinions expressed by hosts and participants are theirs and theirs alone. They do not represent the organizations or companies they happen to work for.